Welcome, folks. Welcome back. I guess we missed last week. We were in Utah doing some cool stuff, recording some cool videos. So if you missed it back then, we are back. And we had a fun week. We drove on Monday. We drove back on Friday. And then we spent a day on Tuesday in the snow, actually, in Utah, filming some stuff. And then we had some good filming on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Went out there with the entire production team, and this is a course that we've been working on with Kyle Northforce from the Weber County Search and Rescue. So we have a search and rescue course coming around the corner. It's mostly edited, right, Ethan?
The main course, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be probably looking to release that. What is this? May, probably sometime in June. So we're pretty pumped. I see some questions popping in to the chat. And I'm going to say hi to everyone. Let's see, who do we have? Aman is in here. Thorold Inspired. As always, Skypod Images, Curtis Warren, The Rule Abides, Northern Drone Guy. We have Mike Superbacker, Yellow Rose Drone, What's Going On? We have Quit76, After As Media, Engineered Drone Services, DJI Gone Wild. Okay. Jared Powell. Juan Torres, Bubbo, John Jackson, Dave Cates. Wow, a lot of folks in here. Thanks for joining. We have Jillian from the community. What's up, Jillian? Our own Jillian from our community manager. We have Mystic Squash FPV. Who did I miss? Max is in here. Hike and Fly. As always, a ton of folks coming in to ask questions. If you're new to this, we do live Q&A every Monday at the same time, except when we travel, and we answer as many drone questions as we can. And I can see that there's some already in here, so we'll get to those in a minute. What else has been going on? I spend the day just running errands, so my brain is actually fried. I don't think I drank enough water, so I get a running headache, but we're gonna get through it and answer all those questions. So if I stumble or if I freeze, it's probably because of that. Let's get to first question. The root abides. The root abide. I thought it was the rule. He says, can the FAA remove my drone rights like they did with the Philly drone life situation? Well, good question. Let's clarify this. First off, the FAA is not doing anything that they haven't been forced to do in this situation. It's clear from the court ruling that he has been given ample opportunities to comply, and has decided of his own free will to not comply. And the FAA is not really the ones that are doing anything. It's the rest of the government that's going after him because he's not following the rules. They've told him to stop. He continues. At one point, the government says, well, then we're going to take your shit away. Did I say shit? Yeah. Anybody who thinks that Philly Drone Life is the victim in this case, I think needs to really look at the details here. He's not the victim. Nobody's taking his rights away for no reason whatsoever. They're taking his rights away because he's been abusing them, and he's been told to be to follow the rules. It's really that simple. So. And he was abusing the rule way before that. He was told to stop. On the day of his hearing, he decided to break the rules again. There is, again, like I said, there's plenty of information out there showing that, I have a hard time feeling bad. I have a hard time feeling bad in this situation. I'm sorry. Okay. Vic's here. He says, sorry I'm late. Miss me? Yes, we did. We always miss you, Vic. Oh, this is gonna be a good show. This is gonna be awesome. Oh my God, I'm seriously fried. I spent the morning with the city of Prescott in the new building we're trying to purchase, along with the architect and the fire marshal. And then I had a visit this afternoon of one of my former professors from college from a long, long time ago, who I've stayed in touch with. I've seen her at Sun and Fun in Oshkosh, so I showed her around town, and we talked airplane and drones all day. So it's been cool. But yes. All right. Next question. Yeah, I don't think we're going to break any records in answering questions today. I ask your opinion and agree with you on this. Okay. But I still see people in the PI community chat saying that if you see the anti-collision lighting, that you comply with VLOS. Is that not correct? It is not correct. So VLOS is 107.31. And in 107.31, it clearly says that you have to see the drone with unaided vision. And it also says that you need to be doing more than seeing the drone. You need to be in control, in command of the airspace, I like to call it. It's not the way that it says it in the rules, but that's really what it means. You need to be in command of the airspace. You need to be able to see the direction of flight of the drone. You need to see a whole lot of different things. It's more than just seeing a dot far on the horizon. So no, using the lights is not enough to be able to see the drone as far as beyond visual line of sight is concerned. Aman says, I'm having an issue playing back my saved hyperlapse tasks with the Mavic 3 Pro. When I hit play, the drone goes to the start position, and then instead of starting at the save altitude, it dives. A lot of people in the forum is complaining about this same behavior with their save hyperlapse task when they try to execute. Can you please explain how to rectify this? So, yes, we actually had the same issue, not with the Mavic 3, but with the Air 3. I tried to replay one of the videos, one of the path, and it was just slightly off. There's two reasons there's one reason as far as altitude, I think, is because they reuse a barometer, and the barometer relies on, well, I don't know. I don't know how it works in the back end, but I know how barometers work and how altimeters work. And I think if the pressure if the pressure changes enough outside from the time that you recorded that flight, then when it replays it, it tries to fly it at that pressure that it was at. And I don't know that you can fix it. I think only DJI can fix it. I don't know how DJI would fix it other than recording the pressure twice, recording it on the ground and then recording it in flight, and then doing a differential pressure between the two, which is what an altimeter in an airplane does, for example. I don't know the solution. I don't even know if that's really the issue. That's my guess based on the behavior that it has and based on what I've seen. The other issue that we've seen is the GPS being off a little bit, but that's because of the accuracy of the GPS signal. We don't have RTK in those drones, so you're not going to be as precise as you would be on the Inspire 2, for example, Inspire 3, sorry, that has this similar functionality but uses RTK. So, yep. Next question. How likely is it that HR 2864 countering the CCP Drone Act will actually be passed by the US government? I think the likelihood is low at this stage for 2864, but it doesn't mean we need to not be vigilant. I'm going to say what I say every week when people ask about this, but they're going to keep trying, right? They're going to keep trying. That's what they have in their head. That's what they're going to do. We found out lately that Stefanik, the person in charge of this rule, her former chief of staff, I think it's chief of staff, is now somebody higher up at Skydio. Imagine that. So she's getting, I'm sure, fed a lot of information from this specific person. We know the role that Skydio has had over the years in getting a lot of these rules pushed to different states by their lobbyists. So I don't think it's the end of it. We need to continue being vigilant and keep pushing. So when I talk about these things in news updates, your job, if you disagree with this, is to go and submit paperwork to your local representative and let them know that this is not acceptable. The more of a voice we have, the more we do this, the more we send a signal to these politicians telling them that we're not going to accept this. Also, I'm going to give a free plug to Vic and the DSPA, the Drone Service Provider Alliance, because that's what they do. So we help DSPA for a good reason. We work with them a lot. I work with Vic a lot because he's a great dude, but not only that, but because he pushes against these things. And the Drone Advocacy Alliance, the droneadvocacyalliance.org, please go in there. This gives you the ability to find the bills near you. This is not just at the federal level. It also is at the state level. So the more we push back at the state level and at the federal level, the more of a chance we have to have a voice. DSPA, DAA, these are the two organizations that are pushing hard against all of this. So please, 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 as you get more more of these messages from us, please take action and let them know that this is not acceptable. Do I need a waiver to be responsible for both a Mavic 2 Enterprise and the Mavic 3T for SAR mission, even if someone else is flying the Mavic 3T? No. Pilot in command. So one pilot in command per aircraft. If you're not the PIC for the other aircraft, you don't need to have a waiver, as long as obviously they are Part 107 certified when they fly the other aircraft. But no, you don't. Mark Silvestri says, I'm starting to experiment with waypoint on the Mini 4 Pro, but one, the map res is too low for waypoints in my backyard, in a yard. Two, waypoints log one day are off by 20 feet. The next day, we just talked about this. Any app to help? No, with the Mini 4 Pro, really not many apps. I would have said Litchi a couple of years ago, but Litchi doesn't work with Mini 4 Pro if I remember correctly. So, yeah, it's not easy. The best thing you can do is set your waypoints manually. So fly the path, set your waypoints, and then play it, and do that the same day. So the chances of having a difference between those is smaller. Obviously, if this is something you want to do over and over and over again each time, then this is going to be more difficult. But if this is something that you want to do locally for that specific day, do it by hand so you're more precise in the yard, and then and then do it the same day. Engineer Drone Services says, how's the new building acquisition going? It's going well so far. We've had quite a few meetings. Got a meeting with the bank today. Everything is moving forward. It's going really well. So I'm pretty excited about this. We've got plans in the work. We're working with the architect, working with the city, working with the bank. It's going to be a lot of people involved. But yeah, it's working really well. So I'm excited. Hopefully in about a month, we'll have some really good news, and we'll be able to start to document the new process, maybe.
Tell them how many outlets we're going to have on the sets.
How many outlets we're going to have on the sets? I don't remember. What is it, 60?
Is it 18?
No, it's more than that.
It is
Per set.
No, it's
No, it's more
I
than
think
that.
it's 18.
Is it 18 per set?
6,
Yeah.
12, 18.
So we
Lots of power.
had 10 hours drive to Utah back and forth, and on the way back we took 10 hours to, not 10 hours, but at least 8, feels like, to go over the outlet schedule for all of our sets. We're going to have 3 big sets in there, plus a green screen, a giant green screen, and each of these sets is going to have, no, it's more than that. It's 3, no, it's way more than that. It's, if you could consider like a
36.
yeah, I think it's 30. I think it might be more than 36. Anyways, we have a lot of requirements for plugging stuff in, and we never have enough plugs in the current sets. We never had enough plugs, so we're putting more plugs now. Double gang, single gang. There's going to be a lot of gangs in that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
And,
the double
that's
gang
right.
is the thing.
that.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of double gangs and single gangs. So it's going to be
Enough to power Los Angeles.
it's going to be enough to. Yeah, we're going to have to call the power company before we turn anything on. But
I'm in charge of planning the soiree, right?
the soiree, soiree.
The opening, grand
The opening soiree.
party.
Yeah,
gonna be a
we'll
fun
invite
time.
people. We'll invite people over when we have the opening. Those that are local will be able to come and see the
BYOD.
studio.
Yeah.
And then we have,
And BYOD. Bring your own drone.
hopefully, the goal is, hopefully, if this all goes through, right, and this is still not 100%, it can still be stuff that happens, but the goal is November 1st at the latest is to move in the building. So we shall see, because now we have to involve a general contractor and people that we have no control, well, not a whole lot of control over, and the city to approve plans and everything. So anyways, it's gonna be fun. Yay. Vic says, I don't think it's Vic, it's another Vic. Vic says, hey Greg, how much should I charge for a simple roofing video and pics of before and after the roof was worked on? That's, how much should I charge is one of the most difficult answer to give, because it depends on your competition, it depends on where you live, it depends on how far the job is, it depends on your customer, it depends on a lot of things. So I can tell you, I really can tell you, it's do some research as far as offerings in your area and how much this is going for in your area, and how much obviously time is going to get involved to do this, how much value you're providing to the client. There's a lot of different ways to do pricing. Pricing questions are always difficult. If you're trying to get repeat business from them, we actually have a series coming out to the community soon that's going to have information about pricing. We ask a bunch of people in this industry how to do pricing, and we got a variety of different answers because, like I said, it's a lot of different ways to do this. Whew. Have a grand opening the day after the Old Fart with drone flying in Vegas. Yeah, that would be cool. Bring everybody into the new building. How good is the FPV with the RC2? How good is the FPV with RC2 on the DJI Pro 4? What's a DJI Pro 4? Leslie, I don't know that I understand the question. How good is the FPV with RC2 on the DJI Pro 4? You're gonna have to rephrase that question. I'm afraid I don't understand this one. Okay, what if a drone is spying on you? What if a drone is spying on you? Spying has a lot of definitions, I think. Drones cannot take videos and record anything inside your house. So that would be, there's a lot of what's called peeping Tom laws in different states. That would be something that would need to be reported to law enforcement. As far as spying, I don't know what spying in this case means. Did you get a chance with a drone to photograph the Northern Lights? Unfortunately, no. We talked about this with Jason. They were as low as where we are in Arizona on Friday. We came back on Friday. I was totally pooped on Friday, so I fell asleep. And then on Saturday, I was completely pooped from Friday, so I didn't really get a chance to go outside, which sucks because one of my bucket list is to be able to watch the Northern Lights, but I'm sure it will happen again in the future. It was a big solar flare, so when that happens, hopefully we don't travel 10 hours the day before, and we'll be able to do that. Any suggestion for a free or inexpensive photo editor for real estate photography? Quite frankly, if you have a Mac, the photo app is, as a basic editor, is actually really good. As far as something more advanced, I don't really know as far as free. There's the GIMP, which is kind of a Photoshop equivalent that's been around a long time.
There's another one that's like $80 one time. Luminar.
Oh, Luminar? Is that, oh yeah, $80 one time?
One time.
That's pretty cheap, yeah.
They could have changed it though.
Yep. Yeah, Luminar gets some good reviews. Mark, that used to work for us at customer service, he used Luminar quite a bit, I think.
There's a drone-specific one for drone photos.
Yep. Media says DC is a no-flight zone, right? I can't fly at all, no matter what the case is, such as flying for fun. Correct. DC is extremely, extremely restricted for good reasons. And it's one of those airspaces that's very policed. So I would not mess with that. It's called a freeze. People call it a freeze. It's an FRZ. I think drone people call it a freeze. Airplane people call it an FRZ. It's a flight restricted zone. So there's different layers depending on how close you are. There's an outer ring that you can fly in. There's an inner ring that you cannot fly in unless you have specific approval. For recreational purposes, you're not going to be able to get approval, of course. But yep. Vic says Luminar is a good one. GIMP, Dark Table. Somebody says for the previous question. I'm sorry, I'm going back. Okay. Who's going to win, DJI and the users or the FAA? The FAA is not against DJI. So the FAA has nothing to do with the DJI drone ban. Absolutely nothing to do with the DJI drone ban. The FAA, I think, often is being blamed for or being painted as being anti-drones. I can tell you that every single person I've worked with and still work with at the FAA is the opposite of anti-drone. They want to see drones fly in the airspace. They just want to make sure that it's done safely. So I have not met a single person at the FAA that was anti-drone of all these years that I've been in there. So I would say, so who's going to win, the DJI or the crooked politicians that are trying to pass these rules? Certainly hope DJI and the users, quite frankly. I'm on that side. I cannot stand crooked politicians that have no proof and trying to destroy this hobby and industry. So there, I said it. Can a remote PIC fly beyond visual line of sight as long as the visual observer can see the drone? No. 107.31 Bravo says that or Alpha actually, says that the pilot and the visual observer must be able to see the drone at all times. So no, you cannot have a PIC. Essentially, at all times, the PIC and the VO need to be able to see the drone. They don't have to look at the drone at all times. They must be able to see the drone. The second part of 107.31 Bravo says that at all times, at least the remote pilot or the VO must look at the drone. So one of the two must look at the drones. Both of them must be able to see the drone. That's as easy as in 107.31. Last question. Doesn't have to be last question. Any circumstance under which I could fly within 400 feet of a 1,254-foot AGL tower and fly 400 feet above that tower with a Mini 4 and comply with VLOS as one-man team. I love the Mini 4, but I say no. No, because 1,200 foot away plus another 400 on top, 1,600 foot away on the Mini 4, I'm going to say you're probably not going to have visual line of sight. So in the sense of the rule, no, not really. Debonair says, does Scadio use Chinese-made parts? It depends on the model, but even blue drones are allowed to have a certain amount of components that come from China or come from, China. But I know some of the Scadio drones, the older one at least, definitely had Chinese parts. So they still have a small amount of Chinese. As to how many, I don't know the percentage. Thank you for the free drone stickers. You are very welcome. We are still doing those. pilotinstitute.com/free if you want stickers. Do the sensor on the M4P need to be turned off when flying over water? They don't have to be turned off, but it's highly recommended that you turn off the sensors, because, well, you just got to pay attention. What happens is that the sensors at the bottom are what detects the ground as you get closer to the ground. So it kind of uses that to maintain altitude over the ground. On water, because it's so reflective, what happens is that the sensors get confused and they don't really realize how close you are to the water. So you could be flying forward and not descending, and still the drone would be slowly descending. And people have put their drone in the water because of that, not being careful. Do you have any courses on solar panels, and do I need to get certified to be qualified? We do not have a thermal course just yet, something that we're working on. Do you need to be certified? That depends on your customer. So there is a certification out there, not from the FAA, but there's a thermal certification that meets ASTM standards. And some customers are going to want you to be certified under that standard. So have somebody issue a certificate of completion of a course that makes you level 1, level 2, level 3 thermal certified. So the answer is, do you need it? Now, as far as being qualified, this is a different thing. You definitely want to know what you're talking about when we talk about thermal, because thermal is not just looking at colors on the screen and saying, oh, this is black hot, so this is black, so it's hot, and this is white, so it's cold. It's a bit more advanced than that. So you need to make sure that you have some training on reading that information. Why does YouTube allow so many FPV violation for these big money channels? It's crazy. YouTube has really no... I mean, YouTube will let you post somebody who's speeding while drunk live, which they have done. People have done. And YouTube has really no recourse, I think, for any of that, which I might be wrong, but it's not up to YouTube to police the footage that's out there. Waypoint New England says, I have my 107. I don't think it's worth getting a module for the Mini 2. My other drones are compliant. I cancel my registration and will only fly recreationally. Did I do this the right way? Yeah, if you cancel registration on the Part 107 side on the drone zone and you don't add it on the recreational side into your inventory, do not add it. I want to make sure I said that correctly. Then you're good. Remove the registration sticker from it. Make sure it never exceeds 249 grams, and then you're good to go. What is your opinion? What is, in your opinion, the best way for public safety to manage their batteries? We have 4 sets for the Matrice 300. We would like to have 1 or 2 sets always ready to go. What is your opinion? Yeah, we've seen a lot of people do this. They just have them charged. Obviously, it's not a bad thing. Just have them every night fully charged and you have them available for the next day. A lot of people do that, and yeah, that's just the nature of the game. So I don't think there's an issue with that. Just don't leave them on a charger at all time. Yes, Ethan?
What do you think about using one of the Christmas light timers? So
Christmas light timer, so it charges
a certain portion of the day.
So you can still leave them on a charger. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. So if you don't use them, you could have, like Ethan said, either one of those smart charger that you can time, or like a Christmas light timer that's on so many hours a day. That's probably the best thing, but don't leave them on a charger. They do need to slowly, discharge if you don't use them, and then recharge them the next day, which is interesting because EVs, they tell you, electric vehicles, they tell you to always have them plugged in, which is what I do with mine. I need to buy a remote ID module for my RC plane. Can you explain the registration process for remote ID modules? So Sky Curtain, I'm guessing you are doing this recreationally. So you're going to go on the FAA drone zone, and then on the recreational side, there's 2 sides. There's a Part 107 and a recreational side. Go in there, and then there's going to be a place for you to add a module, a remote ID module, into your inventory. It's called inventory. Go to the inventory, add the module, and that's really all you have to do. Make sure that it's got a remote ID compliant sticker on it. That's just a kind of a picky thing, and then just put that on top of your drone, and then it's compliant. You can use it for any of your drones under recreational purposes. Next, doesn't VLOS seem unreasonable given the safety of new drones? It's not about the drone in itself necessarily. VLOS is about command of the airspace. I mentioned that before. It's about being able to see the airspace near you to make sure that there is no external aircraft that get in. A helicopter, for example, a crop duster, something that's going to be flying at low altitude, or your friend's drone that's also coming into the airspace. Although the likelihood of collision between 2 drones is very, 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 very slim in the same area. But helicopters and airplanes flying low is definitely the issue. So the FAA wants to make sure that you have the ability to see in the nearby area what is going on in the airspace. LeShow Chandler says, I have DJI Mini 2 SE, but I'm been having trouble connecting it to the app. How do you connect it? So you need a cable that's going to go from the controller to your phone, and then make sure that those 2 are connected. And then you're going to need to make sure that, how am I going to explain this? When you first get in, it's going to show you how to connect to your specific drone. So there should be a bunch of instructions that you can use in order to get to that drone to connect it. You might have to bind the controller. Binding is the process of linking the controller to the drone in itself. You have to make sure that that was done. Depending if you bought this used from somebody else, there might be a binding issue, but the app should be able to show you step by step what to do. Okay, I'm going to take a sip here. I realized somebody in the comment name is Surf Art, not Surf Art. Gotta be careful with those names when they get put together.
Like the rude abides, from the big basket.
There is one that I talk about in the business course, and I can't remember what it is now. But yeah, when you put them together, it's not good. Okay, where was I? Burger Sparky says, do I need to be Part 107 certified to fly my team search and rescue drone? Yes, you do. That is not a recreational activity, and as such, by default, it becomes a Part 107 activity. Getting a new job in Antarctica. That's awesome. Will be wintering over. Plan on taking my drone. Wait, wintering over in Antarctica. Holy crap, talk about cold. Okay, anyway, plan on taking my drone. What are lowest operating temperature I can fly in? Mavic 2, Mavic 3 Pro. I hate to say it, but I think even on a hot day, it's going to be colder than the coldest temperature that drone is designed for. I'm pretty sure every one of these drones is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is right at freezing. Now, could it be done colder? Yes, it can. It also depends on the amount of moisture you're going to have up there. I'm not familiar with the climate in Antarctica. I know it's cold, but I don't know how much moisture there is. But I don't know. Maybe it gets warmer than 32, but I would not expect that in the winter. So some people have flown in colder temperature. I know that for a fact. But yeah. Next. GJC says, hello, what if I add propeller guard to the Mini 3? I could activate the remote. It could activate the remote ID ? Or need to buy a remote ID module for it. So this is something that we haven't tested, but there is a prop guard mode on the Mini 3. And I don't know if activating that mode actually turns on remote ID. The battery swap does, but I don't know if the prop guard mode does.
That would make sense.
It would make sense, but common sense is not so common, so who knows? Next. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Holy smokes. I see Jason is not putting the questions in French in here. Jason, you can put the questions in French in the thing. There's questions in French in here. I'll read it to you in English. But what are the rules for flying in international waters? No rules. It's international waters. So technically, the United States does not apply.
That excites me.
Skydio X10 uses battery made in the same factory as DJI. Oops. Thank you, Vic. Skypath says, what exactly is required to fly at an event? Many times I am hired to fly for an event like a carnival, but I'm always stopped by the police. I'm not over people. It depends on where the event is, but it depends on where you take off and land from, because the landowner technically, if it's private property, they would have to give you permission. But if you take off from public land and you don't have restrictions in your city for flying in that specific area, and there is no airspace, and you're not flying over people, and you're following all the rules from the FAA, technically nobody can stop you. So that would be my answer. Are you guys going to be making embroidered patches for the class year that we graduate? We have talked about this. We are pretty full in the studio right now with boxes and cameras and stuff. So we have not wanted to buy any more merch at the moment until we move to the new building. So once we move to the new building, I think there's going to be a lot more things that happen because we'll have more room to do stuff. But yes, patches for the class year is something we've talked about. We already have patches that say Pilot Institute on it. What we might end up doing is maybe we'll do a pre-order just to know how many to purchase, because some of these are older class, graduating, and we'll do a pre-order, and then depending on how many people buy, then we can, fulfill those. But yes, that's something we've talked about. What are your thoughts on the high KP index in newer drones? I fly the Mini 4 with over 7 KP with no issue. The KP index is difficult to measure. But like, for example, something with the solar storm that we had last couple of days could technically have an effect on your electronics, including your drone. So I don't know what the limit is. I don't know how accurate the KP reading is on some of these apps, until there is a KP measurement inside of the actual app from DJI or from whatever drone you fly, but you said DJI. Then I don't know. I've seen low KP numbers on the pre-flight app, and it seems to work fine even on low numbers, like you said. So I don't know. It's a good question. The problem is that it's difficult to replicate unless we decide to, I don't know, how would we even do this? Buy our own sun and then have it like, I don't know how we do a low KP index. I don't know how we do a fake solar without affecting everybody in our neighborhood, and I don't think that would be even legal.
That's some evil
But you can't really
villain
just
stuff.
you can't really just have it in a small area unless we build a Faraday cage. And I don't know. I'm giving everybody ideas now in the studio of how to do this. Vic says their studio is organized chaos. Yeah, right now it is organized chaos. We are definitely running out of space. So, but hopefully not for soon.
You know what's not part of that chaos? Black and white photographs from Vic.
But yeah, that's right. I hope Vic heard that. Vic, what is not organized chaos? Black and white pictures from you, because we never get them. No, that wasn't supposed to be a thing. We had talked about this, but never followed up. In the new building, maybe we can do a big black and white picture of Vic. We have a lot of wall space. We will have a lot of wall space. On foggy days, can you fly over fog? No, you cannot if they are lower than 400 feet. No, you cannot fly over fog for a good reason, because you cannot, 400% say that you're not flying over people and over moving vehicles. So the FAA says no flying over fog because of that. Although there's no regulation per se that says it, but there is an advisory circular, AC 107-2, that has a little paragraph about this. I know advisory circulars are not regulatory in nature, but if you did that and something happened, the FAA would go back and say, well, it says it in the AC, you shouldn't be doing it, so we're going to violate you for careless and reckless. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And some people have argued with me that fog is not a cloud. It is a cloud, and you have to maintain a certain distance from clouds. And the FAA themselves say that fog is a cloud on the ground. So fog is a cloud. And it's the same thing anyway. It's visible moisture, so it is a cloud. Under category 1, 2, 3, and 4, all have this statement: does not contain any exposed rotating parts that would lacerate human skin upon impact with a human being. Is this one of those FAA catch-all phrases? Not really. This is really just to say that when the drone falls, it should not be, the propellers need to not be spinning, or if they are, there needs to be protection from it. So there's two ways that I know of, at the very least right now, that you can prevent that. One is an emergency stop situation where the propellers would stop as soon as the drone is in an emergency mode, which means that when it lands, then technically the props are no longer spinning. They're not going to be creating laceration on human skin, or to have prop guards. So yeah, that's the two different options, but it's not really a catch-all. That's just a yeah. Actually, we have a follow-up on the territorial waters. It says ICAO rules apply outside the 12 nautical mile territorial limit, operational on the high seas, but they apparently don't have rules yet for UAS. Definitely US rules stop at the 12 nautical mile. So yeah, that's international waters for you, is the 12 nautical mile. And that's from a person that I trust. So that is good information right here. Vic says he'll ship them next week along with a box of cookies from Crumble. Oh wait, that's not what he said. He just said I'll ship them next week. Oh, the pressure, the pressure. Do you personally read and respond to the messages in Pilot Institute community DM? I do not see all of them. The Pilot Institute community DM. Let me tell you this. When we started the company, I said that I would respond to all the messages for as long as I can humanly can do that. And it lasted for a long time. For 4+ years, I've answered pretty much every messages that came through my Facebook, through LinkedIn, through the community when we had it early on. And I have to say, I am overwhelmed. And I just possibly, and even the comments, I answered every single comment in the courses that you guys left because I wanted to and because I could. And I'm at the point now where we just have too many students, and I hate to admit it, but I cannot respond to everyone every day because it would be pretty much a full-time job or really close to it. It would be at least half my day to respond to Facebook messages that come through, to and I'm not even talking about the chat. I'm just talking about people reaching out to me directly. We started the community, and I was able to answer all the comments in the community initially, and it got out of control because we have 24,000 people in the community now, and a lot of people do reply to the messages that we had automated that would go out, and I just don't have enough time to do it. So we hired Jillian, who helped me answer a lot of these comments, and then she goes through the comments. But if something comes through and it is addressed to me and it needs to be answered by me, then you will get an answer from me, and then you'll know because it'll be coming from me directly. If you get a message that comes with my name, it means that I answered that comment. If it comes from anybody else in the team, they will let you know that it's anybody else in the team. With that being said, I have an amazing team that works for me, that works for you guys, and any information that comes from them, you can take it as if it came from me. If they don't know the answer, they will either ask me and then reply to you, or they will give it to me and then I will reply to you. So we've been able to filter a lot of the messages and help me keep my sanity and help me keep running the business, recording courses and doing all these things. Jason does an amazing job and has been now for a while answering comments in the course itself. And Tom has been doing an amazing job on the airplane side to answer the comments on the airplane side. And from time to time, like I said, they come to me and ask me and how to reply to that specific comments. But yeah, long answer short, the comments that are coming from the Pilot Institute account in the community is an account that Jillian maintains, our community manager. And we did that just because I was overwhelmed. I was getting over 50 messages in the community every single day. And a lot of them are awesome. There are some of you saying thank you, and I appreciate it. I like I said, I've seen these comments over the years, a ton of people just saying thank you for providing a service, for helping pass the test. And we have a special chat in our Slack that has a channel that has all the amazing comments that you guys leave. We copy paste them when they're really, really good and very special, and we put them in here so everybody can see them in the team as well. So yeah, like I said, that's my story. And yeah, it's kind of crazy and on Facebook, if you've tried to reach to me on Facebook and we're not friends, and the message comes through and it goes into my filtered inbox, I don't always remember to go on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook very much anymore because the community is a separate page now. So if you can try to email me, it's actually the best way to do it, or email our contact person, our contact email address, contact@pilotinstitute.com. Like I said, if it's a personal message, they'll relay it to me and send it to me and I'll reply. I still do a lot of these every day. I still answer over 100 emails every single day. So, and I do that early in the morning and late at night usually when I have time. Whew, okay. I've seen more than one video of people using red reflective tape on their drone to help fend off bird strike. I don't think birds care about the color of your drone. I think they're going to go and attack regardless. It's a territorial thing. I don't think red is going to scare them. So, do you have any courses on how to do roof inspections? We do not have courses on roof inspection. So this is one of these things that's difficult. Why? Because typically roofing inspection is not a single service that people offer. So you're going to offer a home inspection thing and a service, not thing, service. And a home inspection service in some states requires that you have a certification. Not all the states, but some states require that you have specific certification. And even beyond that, if you did that, I would want you to have certification. I would want you to have training and to know what you're doing. So offering just roof inspection, we would be teaching people that already do roof inspections in their job and now are using the drone in order to fly the drone to do the roof inspection. They know how to do roof inspection. So I've been struggling with this. It's a difficult topic, I think, to get into, to teach people. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the reason we don't have a roof inspection course available. Waypoint New England says, where can we just mail you? Mail, as in just regular mail. I don't respond to mail, but if you want to email, it's contact@pilotinstitute.com. If you want to send us a nice letter
Or cookies.
or cookies, I don't want to give our address now because we might be moving. But I think our address is easily found online if you want to send us something. But I don't really want people to start to send us stuff, although I do appreciate it. But and don't send us cookies, by the way. Please don't. The last thing that I want to see is every day a box of cookies coming in here because we just don't have the throughput. I know Ben is looking at me weird, but we don't have the throughput to eat cookies every single day in the office. So please, I know as much as we talk about cookies, we just don't have the throughput. And I can't run enough steps to burn all of this off. Okay.
Expensive.
Huh?
And they're expensive.
And they're really expensive. Yes, they are really expensive. So
It's not expensive. Likes on YouTube.
that's right. Likes on YouTube's, nice comments. I do this. I will tell you this. I still read every single comment that comes through YouTube. And I respond to 99.9% of the comments on YouTube. So when you get a comment on YouTube, it's from me because it's something that's easy for me to do because there are some, but most of them I can just read and ignore because they're just saying nice things. So I either give you a thumbs up, a heart, or I respond. But basically, yeah, I do read every single comment. So if you want to do something nice to thank us, put a comment on YouTube. It goes a long way. Leave a review. I also read every single review because I get notifications from them, although that's a lot of them every day as well. Okay, I got to speed up. I've been talking a ton. Should U.S. consumers be wary of buying a new DJI drone with the possibility of being banned? I know the 6-year plan to implement if passed, but what are your opinions? Remember, the 6-year plan would be only for public safety agencies, so not for you, unless you're in public safety. I would not be afraid at this stage to buy a DJI drone, not at all. How much better does the Avata fly when you remove the crash guards? I don't know that you can remove them easily, at least. I think it's designed to be flying better with the duct propellers. Yeah. The new DJI charger, is the new DJI charger a fast charger for specific batteries, or is there no such thing as a fast charger for any lithium type batteries? You can definitely fast charge lithium batteries, and this new brick will do it, but it will have an effect on the life of your batteries, how long you can keep them. Fast charging reduces the life of the battery. That's the bottom line. But yes, there is definitely such a thing. Is DJI gone? It's not gone. If so, do we need to request a refund to the FAA? Again, the FAA has nothing to do with this. No, DJI is not gone. DJI is not gone. I'm just going to say that. Okay. Bellatrix Zen says, how do certain people, cough, cough, dusting something, I don't know who Dustin is, get away with so many videos that are BVLOS range tests? How do they not get the letter of pain? I don't know. It's a good question. Probably because the FAA hasn't seen them, hasn't gotten to them. I don't know. It's a good question. Have you gotten the Specta Air drone yet? Yes, we do. We have the Specta Air 3. Or Air, I think it's just Air. It's an Air 3 copy. And it looks exactly the same. It flies exactly the same. It's an Air 3 for all intents and purposes. Would it be safe to buy a DJI drone for first-time buyers? Yes. Don't want to waste my money if the FAA is going to make me shut down. Again, it's not the FAA, for recreation. Yes, DJI drones are great for getting started. I would definitely recommend them. A Mini 2, a Mini 3, Mini 4, those are great starter drones for whatever you have in the budget. Mini 2 is really, really affordable these days. Even the Mini 2 SE, if you're on the very lowest end of the budget. And the Mini 2 4K, I think it's called a Mini 4K now, which is a Mini 2 with a 4K sensor. Yeah. Just to thank you in advance, I'm testing tomorrow at 9 a.m. You've got this. This is Tavo 47. And I know I'm going to pass because I was curious about what I don't know. Took it all in and think I might even get in a plane eventually. Dude, that's awesome. I always love when we have drone students that decide to go and fly airplanes. We've had quite a few. We've seen a lot of them at trade shows come to us and say, thanks for taking all my money because now I spend it on renting airplanes and learning how to fly. Quit76 says a question in French. What's the best micro SD to capture footage? The best card is what we use, which is a SanDisk Extreme Pro. They're rather cheap. That's what we recommend. We've had them for a long time, never have issues. Phew! How much attention have you paid to the high KPI index lately? Does it stop you from flying? I've answered that question already, so I'm going to skip because I know we're running out of time here. But the answer is not a whole lot, but it could have an effect. Were there any reports of GPS disruption from drone pilots during the recent geomagnetic storm? I have not seen any reports, but to be fair, I have not been on Facebook either because we've been traveling and I spend the weekend just relaxing. Bailey says, advice on starting to acquire clients for drone video. Passed my Part 107 last week, and I have an active marketing consulting LLC with liability and drone insurance. I would say build a portfolio so you can show your potential customers what you're capable of. Go in the community, talk about your services. Go talk to people. I think what came out of all the interviews that we did with people here in the studio talking about how to get customers, every single one of them says, go talk to people that could be your customers. Tell them what you do, explain the things that you do, and then hopefully they see value and come in. Is Autel exiting the consumer scene like Skydio did? I have no official word on that, but it certainly looks like it. The last drone that we saw out of Autel that was consumer was the Nano and the what's the other one? The Nano and the anyway, the other one that was a little bit bigger. I can't remember the name right now. That was the last time. That was several years ago. So we have not seen anything else from them since. We've seen other drones coming out of Skydio. I keep saying Skydio. Autel on the enterprise side. So it looks like they're going to be going there. What is the best product to clean my drone and control a screen? Quite frankly, a soft cloth and a little bit of water on it. That's the best thing to do to clean it. I would not use any kind of chemicals at all. Just a lightly wet, soft cloth and just clean it. Sky Curtain says, so 44809 pilot do not need to report to the NTSB. That is correct. We've talked to, I don't remember where I was. I think I was in a round table with the NTSB about this, and they said no, they don't want to hear from recreational pilots. Where can we just mail you? I think we answered that question already. Oh, I saw it in here. Never mind. Any suggestion on Part 107 operators for insurance coverage? I don't like recommending insurance companies. Do some research. There is a few of them. A simple drone insurance search on Google will get you a few of them. Shop around. Go to the main 3 or 4 that pop up, and then get a quote and see what is the best possible value that you can get. You'll have liability insurance, which is going to be required by most of your customers. Probably at least $1 million policy, possibly $2 million. Some people like Vic. I think Vic has a $5 million policy because he works with much bigger contractors. At least $1 million, and then whether or not you want to have whole coverage for your drones, which would cover the loss of the drone in itself. So yeah, that's what I would say. We've got the thumbs up police in the chat. Thank you. Any thumbs up you can leave in here, we always appreciate it. But if you want to just listen to me babble, that's okay as well. This is Josh. Rural grade school purchased a Mini 4 Pro for STEM program. Students so they could learn how SUAS may integrate into agriculture. Your thoughts on FAA registration and if each kid needs to have Part 107. So this is changing with the FAA Reauthorization Act, at least I hope. It was last time I saw the draft of the Reauthorization Act. But at the moment, the FAA is... Well, I'm gonna tell you what's in the FAA regulation, and I'm going to tell you what you probably should do. The FAA says that you need to have a Part 107 in order to do what you just said for a STEM program, which doesn't make really sense to me. I think the teacher should at least be Part 107 certified, but I think the kids should be able to fly this under recreational rules. And I think a lot of people probably at the FAA would agree, but I don't want to put words in their mouth. But with that being said, you can probably, well, no, I shouldn't say that. If you wait a little bit, probably by the time school is in session again in August or September, whenever you start, the FAA Reauthorization Act will have passed. I certainly hope. It's already a year late, more than that. But when it does, there is a new stipulation in here that lower grade schools, like what you're talking about, will be able to do it under the recreational exemption, which will be good. Whew. With that being said, what you should do at the very least is have kids do the trust so they can have the trust, and then have the teacher under Part 107 so that they at least know about some of the regulation and stuff, and then go teach the kids. What about a legal anti-collision strobe to discourage birds? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not a bird expert, so I don't know if they're scared of strobe lights, but...
Maybe also painting your drone like an owl.
Like an owl or an eagle. a baby Mavic Mini 3 Eagle. I grew up in the country, and we used... Actually, you know what? Lights might be a good idea. We used CDs in trees, in fruit trees, to reflect the light to scare the birds until like a day later, and then they're like, oh, this thing is doing the same thing over and over again, and then they're not scared. Oh, CDs, for those of you that are watching that have never seen them, was a little step above a tape. Yeah, the things that you find in cars and that people used to use. Anyways, so yeah, CDs. We use CDs with lights, and then cannons are used on a regular basis to make sound at airports, for example, to scare birds. They get used to that as well. So birds are pretty smart animals. Yeah, Vic says the FAA Reauthorization Act passed last week, but it still needs to be signed, I think, by the president. So maybe I should go read the final version if I can find one. There's just so many versions that I've been reading, so I need to find the latest one and read it. Do you always need a spotter VO for FPV drone for VLOS? Yes, you do. Yep, that's an easy answer. Flying after sundown requires a light visible from 3 miles, but in which direction 3 miles? Up, down, east, west? The best thing to do, those lights that are approved usually are visible from all directions. So best thing to do is to put it on top of your drone. The reason is that light is not for you to see the drone. That light is for you to be seen by other aircraft in the airspace. So put it on top of the drone. Are people using their personal phone on their remotes, or they getting something else to use? Most people I've seen use their personal drone on top of the remote, or some remotes come with a screen, which is my preference. They are more expensive. CD, compact disc. Yes, thank you, Jillian. I forgot to mention what CD stood for. Yeah, 8-track. I have to admit, 8-track was before my time.
Was it? I had a couple.
See, no, I had vinyls when I was a kid, but no, 8-track, I think 8-track was before my time. Is the Holystone RID module actually compliant? That is a question I will not answer. I have my doubts about that. It's theoretically, it is approved by the FAA. It's on the list, on the DOC list, but I have my thoughts about whether or not it is compliant, and I will not say it. Is it disrespectful to fly in your neighborhood? I think it depends on how you fly. I would not hover over somebody's yard if they're in their yard looking like you're looking at them. If you're transitioning over or transiting over somebody's house, I think it's perfectly fine. Yep. Can a state require a waiver to fly at night? That's a good question. Vic, what do you say? Can a state require a waiver to fly at night? I know there are limitations as to what states can do, but first off, I'm going to say it depends on your state. Some states like Arizona, for example, have restrictions as to what states can do to restrict UAS. But Vic says no. Okay, so I'm going to take Vic's word on that. I don't know why I'm struggling with this. But I think there is, I'm trying to find of the reason why it would be a no. But I'm pretty sure it is a no. But, Yep. I'm going to say it's a no, but I'm going to have to research as to why. But there is a reason, I think.
Wrap up, we get that photo trophy.
Oh, yeah. So, oh, shit. I said shit 3 times today. 4, actually.
We never know the drinking game.
I don't remember if are we still allowed to vote or to submit stuff for this?
I think
The 25th, the 13th,
I believe it's still the 15th.
15th. I think it is until the 15th. I think you're right.
Opens the 20th.
Okay. Whew. It's been a long time since we've been in the office, and I spent all day out of the office. So, yes. Yes, you can still vote. So this is the trophy that you could win. It's cool. It's a blunt object that could be used in a crime.
It's really pretty.
It is very pretty. It's made of glass. It's beautiful. It will have your name right here, where it says your name here, and it would have the month and year where it says month and year right here of you winning the community photo contest. And even better, this is the first one. This is the first one. So that's some crazy bragging rights. Jillian says you can submit photos through Wednesday, and then the voting is going to start on the 20th. We'll explain all of that in the community, how to vote, but it's going to be important to vote. But yeah, this is some serious bragging rights. And you also get $250 for winning this. And you will also get a special tag in the community for winning this. So, submit. We have, I haven't seen the latest count, but last I checked, Jillian told us we had over 300 submissions already. So it's gonna be cool. Put your name in the hat. There are some cool submissions, so up your game for sure to submit out there. And we will not be doing the voting, aka Pilot Institute. The voting will be done by you, the community. So you'll be deciding, and it's going to be an advanced type of voting. So it's not going to be just a popularity contest. It's going to be, well, it's always a popularity contest, but it's going to be to the point where you'll have to see a lot of different photos, and it's a cool algorithm that is more than going to your photo and saying like. Going to your photo and saying like. It's more than that. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay. So I want to say one more thing because I had a brain fart. 44 USC 4103, sovereignty of the U.S. airspace. Is that the answer? Wolfpack 46. Is that the answer to? Yeah, but he's quoting the foreign sovereignty of the U.S. airspace, meaning that the FAA is in charge of the airspace, which I think that would fall under. So a state could not regulate anything additional to access the airspace because the FAA is in charge of the airspace. Okay. So that makes sense now. Yep, Wolfpack 46 is right. Like I said, Wolfpack 46 has good information that I would 100% trust. So go to that number and take a look. But yeah, that's the same rule that basically prevents local municipalities and state from having their own rules for you to fly in the airspace. We always say they can control takeoff and landing at that location if they own the airspace, if they own the land, but they cannot control the airspace in itself. So Yep. Okay. Whew. 5:05. We went over. That's it. That's all we have for tonight. We're going to be live on Friday with Bo from the couch right over there. And we're going to be talking about Bo and what he does here at Pilot Institute. That's in the community. So make sure you head over there in the community. That's happy hour, same time, 4 p.m. our time, which is whatever, Pacific these days. Join us. And then, as always, Friday news update on Friday morning. And then on Monday next week, we'll be here. We'll be here for the foreseeable future. I don't think we have any big travel that's going to prevent us from doing any of these live shows. So exciting. And then hopefully we have even more news about the new building. And we'll be able to show videos at one point. The before. Or should we keep those for later? I don't know. We'll see. All right.
Just tune in to see.
Tune in. Yeah, you'll have to tune in to see. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And yeah, have a great week.